ultimately you're trying to still refine your product, and you're trying to always make sure that the product is perfectly fitting and aligning with the people that you're working with. So try to have that personalized relationship with your customers during that initial phase. So you don't want to break that the trust with the current existing customers, even if they have glitches or even if they have issues.
Your value increases when you add value to others.
Hi guys, and welcome back. And today I want to take you guys through a topic which someone just asked me a question, which was basically, what do you do after launching a product or a service or even a mobile application or a software? What do you do as next steps? How do you get it out there? If you've built a particular software, if you've built a particular service that you're going to be providing to that community, or anything that you look forward to do, what do you go into doing next? So I would always say, before anything that you do, and because you've already had a plan of your product or service that you're going to offer, I would say always effectively think about how could you have marketed that product if it's already there in the market. So how would you take it to people and make them aware of such product that exists in the market? So think about that. You don't have to have a concrete plan as to how you're going to implement it when you still don't have the product in hand, but there should be a process or a mapping that you've done into how you could lay it out once you've actually gone ahead. So for me, what's worked, or from my side, what I've seen that has worked, is that you're already starting marketing efforts, and you're already starting your efforts into getting your word or brand out there way before your product launch, or way before your software launches into the public. So you need to understand who it's catering to, and how we're actually going to be targeting that particular audience, and how we're going to aim to solve problems, or solve their problems by giving them this as the solution. So giving them this product as a solution. So once you have this product in market, and if you've already gone through the thorough testing and so on within your team, try to analyze user feedback. So don't just publicly go out and give it to everyone immediately. Try to get a sample of 10 to 15 people. Try to understand what they think about it, what they see as maybe problems, or what would be their feedback and their experience by using this application, software, or even the service. If you're going into service industry, try to understand what pain points they would go through when you're trying to maybe even close a sale, or when you're trying to convince them to get this service. So try to understand where those gaps can be and how you can fill those gaps beforehand. And then, so once you start analyzing these user feedback, you can then go ahead into iterating or improving, or taking down notes as to what can be improved, what are the things that can obviously be tweaked in the later iterations of of your service or your mobile application or product. Because I'm going to keep it product focused, or a mobile application focused, because that's what I've been successful in, and that's what I'm currently doing with EduSpace. So I'm going to stick to that because that's my forte right now. I always want to make sure that all the improvements and everything are all listed out, and then we see or prioritize what feedback goes where, and how can we incorporate a better a user interface, or a better user flow for the particular users. So it's always about the users. It's always about who's going to be using that product, and who's going to be actually benefiting from that product, and how can we benefit that user experience, and how can we have them engaged within that product or service, and within that application. How can we actually make sure that they don't look at it as something that they have to learn new? Try to cut down on trying to re-educating your customers, or your or the people that you're targeting, your prospects. So That's what you want to make this flow very easy. And by doing that, you're going to focus on user acquisition, and you're going to focus on you're going to make it easier for people to actually use your product or your mobile application. And then acquiring that customer becomes a lot easier than wanting to convince them to actually take this particular app or product. More than all that, no, obviously you'll have a website, you'll have a product page, you'll have your social media handles, have your marketing teams, or make sure that you're speaking about your product in and or able to push the rankings in terms of SEO, or if you have money and funding, then paid advertising, influencer partnerships. Look into all that. But what I would suggest is, when your product is still new and fresh in the market, don't go overboard on the spends, because ultimately you're trying to still refine your product, and you're trying to always make sure that the product is perfectly fitting and aligning with the people that you're working with. So try to have that personalized relationship with your customers during that initial phase. So you don't want to break that the trust with the current existing customers, even if they have glitches or even if they have issues. So you ideally want to make sure that you're fueling and you're retaining your customers. So those retention strategies, that is something that you have to lay out. So retention strategy is very important. How you retain, or how for example, I will take EduSpace for example. Our average retention rate after doing all the calculations and everything in terms of students are nearly 2 years. So just about 2.3 years. So when you look at the overall perspective, 2.5 or let's say 2.5 years, if that's my retention rate, then I'm retaining a customer that's joining us for at least 2 years. So how can we increase that? What are the things we can do to increase that? And why are they dropping out after 2 years? There might be several circumstances that make them drop out. So for example, if a student comes in 11th grade and they finish school, obviously they're going to stop classes. So those are inevitables, but you always going to look at what you can control. So within that retention strategy, you got to think about how you can control whatever your controllables are. You've got to see how you can actually control that, and put a plan for that. So develop your SOPs, develop your optimization techniques and everything. Write it down and have documentations, even if it's just a rough sketch, but have those things done, at least for your knowledge, and then work on those as you're getting your name and your brand out there. So obviously once you've launched your software or mobile application, you'll always have monetization strategies. And once you do have monetization strategies, you have maybe in-app purchases or not, or if you do have any particular ways in which you want the services to be sold, try to see how you can get those services out there and how you can give them offers, give your prospects maybe a trial or a demo or a time period where they can use it as a freemium and then kind of convert to a paid subscription model. Or how can you bring them on to experience it without having to pay for the whole product, but then experience or see the experience and then feel the effectiveness. And because then you trigger them emotionally, you connect with your users, you connect with your prospects, you allow them to be in control of their choice, and then bringing them on obviously will automatically give you a better retention rate, will automatically give you a better satisfaction rate. So then you can start working on building a strong brand. And when you're building a strong brand, it's not just, EduSpace is it's a privacy focused tutor marketplace, but rather EduSpace is a one solution for everything educational needs. So if that's the aim or your goal, your objective, then you've got to look at all the small things that work together to ensure that you're pushing your product out there and people are able to see that and vision that. So I feel like there's a lot of things to soak in, but no, please, if you find all these insights useful, please do like, share, and subscribe, because it helps us, it helps me, it helps me build the channel, as well as it know if you're engaging with me, I know what sort of content you like, and I'm able to help you guys even more. And know if you do have any questions, put it down in the comment section so that I can take it off and maybe work on another topic in a later stage. But yeah, so once you've built that brand, going back into our topic, just once you've built that brand, you don't want the brand to just focus on just the brand coloring and the name and just the high level stuff. You want the brand to have a compelling story of obviously the way you started, how you started. Those are things that you can probably let your prospects know and people who are following you know. But I would suggest you, because you would have already had those insights into having a social media platform way before the platform is being product is being built, you could have already done educating people with little things along the way. And when you've done that, when the product launches, they know about the product, and you've already built a strong connection in their mind that something like this is coming up. And then once you're out, you can build that strong brand and you can build that relationship. And then you can start working on the tweaks and the changes, and telling them new releases, new updates, new features. And once you're doing that, you're starting to build a community. You're fostering that connection. You're fostering that sense of, oh, I care about what you guys say. I care about what you guys feel like when you're using my application, or I care about your experience. I care about the experience that you have with our service providers, you have with our partners, or anything to do with that connection. You want to be able to do that once you've got them into your platform, once you're registered with them, you have their details, you're able to have a personal connection with them. Send them an email, thank you note, send them a thank you note for downloading the application or using the application, and ask them for feedback. No, feedback is free. So I'm pretty sure a lot of people can give you feedback, and every feedback can account to something. And then you can start looking at, do we need people for customer support? Do we need people to address issues? Do we need people to speak to customers and educate them about what the next steps are or the new features that are coming out? Do we just send out an email? Do we have a newsletter? Do we have an FAQ page where we're updating everything? So and if you do, if your business model allows it, then focus on strategic partnerships, and then track your KPIs and track your performance. Try to understand how you can partner with organizations, or how you can have strategic partnerships where you're able to bring in leads, as well as how you can partner with to generate more income and revenue streams within the business. What I would say as a startup is to always stay agile and flexible. Because if you're agile and flexible, you're always ready to incorporate new changes quickly and efficiently. And when you're able to do that efficiently, what happens is it allows for you to have those changes, but also understand without losing out on the importance of sales, or without losing out on the importance of customers, and so on. So your main vision will always stay in focus, but then you'll also have those small, minute changes where you're able to change things for the better to push the company and make sure your company grows. So I think as a founder, you need to be involved in all these activities and oversee all these activities. And then things that you feel that you're not very passionate about, or things that you feel that you cannot handle completely, do bring in someone who you can mix and match with and work as a team with, and kind of ask them to also guide you and help you, because it cannot be a one-man show, and you cannot do it just by yourself. No matter how much skill or how much knowledge you have, you will not be able to successfully do it without having a team or people working with you, because different perspective brings you that different realization of how can we get into certain markets, how can we expand, how can we have a better reach, how can we understand our customers, and so on. So these are things that will fundamentally work together to successfully build your product, but not just because you're building a product is not just a one step and you're done. No, you've launched your product and you're done there, because once you've launched your product, you're going into the market, and if the market deems your product is unfit, then sales are not going to happen. So you need to understand that once you are in the market, you need to constantly be there. It's a tug of war, but you need to be constantly being there, pushing or speaking to customers, speaking to prospects, speaking to the people, trying to really understand the root cause of every situation or every circumstance that's happening around the application, whether it's good or bad. Even the good times, if you had a peak in users during a particular time, why? Where are the users coming from? What countries are the users coming from? So you get an overall understanding and you know the business inside out. And that's what's going to effectively grow your business and ensure that you have a longevity in terms of building the product that you're building. And you can actually look to slowly build and scale. All right, guys. Thank you. That's it for today. I hope you enjoyed this one. And if you have any questions, please do comment. And if you found this useful, do comment as well. And connect with me on LinkedIn. Connect with me on Instagram. We can definitely have a chat or have a talk. If you need any help or support from my side, I'm happy to always help the community. I'm always happy to help you people, because that's what I'm here for, and that's what I've started this whole podcast for. Thank you, guys. Cheers. Take care.